This is a sample of the information provided as part of the flexible training resources available through HACCP.com. Our training courses are designed to provide training participants with an understanding of food safety and quality system elements and also offer user-friendly assessment activities and competency checklists to complete the training cycle. Certification standards. Key definitions for certification standards. Corrective action request or CAR. A corrective action request is a non-conformance raised as outcomes of an auditing process. This is basically a notification of an identified system deficiency which needs to be rectified as a condition of certification. A CAR may also be called an NCR or non-conformance request. Certification body. The entity providing certification to the food business is referred to as the certification body. The term certification body also includes auditors and other representatives of the certification body. Client. A business or entity requiring the food business to gain certification is referred to as the client. Food business. A business entity requiring certification is referred to as food business. This may include businesses that are not strictly food businesses, but may supply products or services to food businesses. Gap audit. A gap audit is a tool through which the food business is assessed to the required standard prior to the actual certification audit. Non-conformance. A non-conformance is where the food business is assessed by the certification body as not being in adherence to the requirements of the standard. Standard. A standard means the certification standard required by the food business. Standard owner. The standard owner is the entity that manages the standard to which a food business is audited against. Certification standards development. When considering the development, documentation and implementation of certification standards within food safety and quality management systems, the following information should be considered to ensure effective outcomes. About certification standards. Why is certification important? Certification process. Certification decision. Certification body selection. Certification application. About certification standards. Certification is an industry or regulatory recognition provided to a business entity by an accredited certification body or authorized agency that serves as notification that the food business has been assessed as being in compliance with the requirements of a particular certification standard. Certification may be a requirement of customer demand, regulatory requirements, or it may be a tool by which you benchmark your business in the global food marketplace. Regardless of your decision to gain and maintain certification to specific standards, the process is a substantial investment into your business, and should be considered carefully prior to implementation. HACCP.com is designed to assist with the recognition of the food industry certification process for food businesses, their associates and clients, in conjunction with formatting resources certified businesses can use to better manage their investments in certification. Certification to industry standards is no longer considered an optional extra for food producers, manufacturers and suppliers. In times gone by, these certifications were classed as an activity a business would achieve as a measure of best practice. Today, industry certifications are required simply to be able to compete in the high-evolution marketplace which defines modern food industries. The foundation of certification is not only to adhere to the requirements of relevant food industry legislation and guidelines, but also to consider reputable certifications such as Codex HACCP, ISO 9001, ISO 22000, BRC Food, SQF, IFS, Global Gap and customer standards to provide staunch management systems through which your food business can achieve excellence within your food industry sector. Many food businesses may also require certification to specific standards that define the vendor requirements as a prerequisite for supplying to large retail or food service groups. It is important to consider the role that quality management has evolved to coexist with food safety as a major component of contemporary food industry certifications. The emphasis has shifted towards ensuring foods produced, manufactured and supplied are not only safe to eat, but are also consistently of substantial quality. Why is certification important? Certification to accepted industry standards provides peace of mind. Business owners, Stakeholders and management can rest assured that the food business is participating in the compliance routines required to provide sustainable positive outcomes regarding product safety and quality. Continuous improvement. Continuous improvement is the contemporary business ethos which creates substantial opportunities in the growth and management of your brands, and your business capabilities to continually provide products and services of substantial safety and quality. Savings. The financial ramifications for serious non-compliance that are identified by clients and customers can be far-reaching and damaging for any business reputation. It's not only your ability to supply products and services to your clients which may be in jeopardy where your management systems have failed, there's also industry confidence to consider. Improved quality and safety. By focusing on the requirements for certification to relevant standards, your business will identify opportunities for improvements which will strengthen and nurture your business systems, and ensure future growth and prosperity for your business. Certification process. The following steps are generally considered elements of a typical food business certification process: certification decision, certification body selection, application, gap analysis, gap analysis application, certification audit, CAR closeout, certification granted, surveillance and recertification audits. Any certification process should be flexible enough to meet the requirements of anticipated outcomes, but must be rigid enough to maintain the integrity of the audited standard in ensuring the outcomes of safety and quality foodstuffs. Certification decision. The food business decides to apply for a particular certification, for example, Codex HACCP, ISO 9001, ISO 22000, BR Seafood, SQF, IFS, Global Gap or Customer Standards, or a group of certifications. This decision to apply for certification may be an internal requirement of the food business, or may be through a request from one of the food business clients as a form of guarantee for the products or services being supplied to them. Certification body selection. The food business may choose any certification body to certify them to the required standard, providing that certification body is accredited to deliver certification to that particular standard. This ability to choose the certification body offers some impartiality for the process, and requirements from the food business clients to use a specific certification body is generally viewed as unacceptable. It is important to consider that more than one certification body may be used by one food business, but not for the same certification standard. For example, a food business may have HACCP certified by one certification body, and ISO 9001 certified by another certification body. It is also important to consider that the scope and purpose regarding the certification standard chosen may only relate to a selection of products or processes, rather than the entire business operation. In this context, it is important to consider that some standards require the entire scope of the business operation at a particular site to be audited, rather than nominated products or processes. Certification bodies are accredited to provide certification services to recognized standards. This process involves an accreditation body that accredits the certification body to the requirements of ISO/IEC Guide 65, which provides a foundation of suitability in systemic management to provide certification services. Certification application. The food business applies to the certification body for the required certifications. This process generally includes contractual agreements regarding service scope and purpose, applicable fees, and other information, which may also include interactions between the food business client and the certification body. The application process may include an on-site advisory visit from the certification body to discuss the food business specific requirements. Most certification bodies will require the nomination of an authorized representative from the food business. Usually the person who will liaise with the certification body for both on-site and off-site interactions. As a part of this process, the food business will also be designated a client manager, who is often designated as the contact person representing the certification body. Gap analysis or gap audit. A gap analysis is a tool through which the food business is assessed to the required standard. A gap analysis is generally conducted as a resource for the food business to identify areas in which the food business requires improvements prior to the actual certification audit. A gap analysis is intended as more of a consultation, as opposed to an audit, where non-conformance issues are raised, rated and issued as corrective action requests or CARs. Where a gap analysis is conducted, and no non-conformance to the relevant standard is identified, some certification bodies may upgrade the gap analysis to a certification audit where circumstances permit. No corrective action requests should be raised during a gap audit. Only observations should be noted. Gap analysis may be an optional requirement, depending on which certification body the food business is using. In this case, the following step will generally be the certification audit. Gap analysis application. The food business uses the information provided from the gap analysis as a stimulus to improve their business management systems, procedures and practices, where improvement opportunities have been identified. This process may or may not be conducted with the use of a consultant with specialist technical skills in the areas required. Certification audit. A certification audit is the point at which the food business being assessed to the required standard or standards gets an indication of how they are managing the requirements of the relevant certification standard or standards. This generally includes an auditor or auditor team from the certification body visiting the food business site to conduct a thorough audit. Did you know that HACCP.com includes resources that allow you to create, manage and implement GFSI and HACCP-based food safety and quality programs? Improve your food safety and quality skills and knowledge? Train and develop your team to create better food safety and quality outcomes? Find suppliers and service providers to partner with your business? The information and training resources available through HACCP.com included a variety of formats, such as website content, MP4, MP4 and text, MP3, PDF and slideshow. Are you ready to take the next step in your food compliance journey? Visit HACCP.com today to create your profile and access the full versions of our food safety and quality information packages and much more.